big helper here.
That's right. We got my big helper here. What's your name?
Judah.
Welcome, Judah. All right, guys, welcome to Duplex Built to Rent. Today we're going to be talking about the 6 items that we need in addition to a set of plans to get approved the very first time we submit the plans to the city. All right. So I think one of the challenges that a lot of people run into is like they don't know where to start. So I'm trying to give you guys a basis, a foundation, so that you guys understand like what are the things that you need to have completed so you can get your plans approved the very first time you get them submitted to the city. Now, all right, guys, so we're going to be making a few assumptions at this point. We already own the lot. We've already made our due diligence, so we already confirmed that we can build a duplex. The architect has already drawn the set of plans and basically the set of blueprints that shows you where the floor plan is, where the bathrooms go, where the kitchen is, the bedroom, living rooms, all that stuff has already been taken care of. And we still need a few more things. So the question is, what else? What comes next? Now, if this is a topic that really interests you and you want to learn a little bit more about it, please sign up for my 1.5 hour free masterclass where I go into great detail, a lot more about building your own ground up duplexes. Man, in today's marketplace, it's become a lot more difficult to find cash flowing rental properties. And so the way we've been doing it has been building our own duplexes. So go to www.duplexbuilttorent.com and I'll see you guys there. So let me minimize this here for a second, and then we're going to be talking about the other things. Now, I want you guys to understand that this varies from, by local codes. So we're in the greater Houston market. That is Harris County for Houston. Right north of that is Montgomery County. Inside of Montgomery County, there's two big cities. So the city of Conroe and then the city of Willis. Both of those cities have different ways of how you can submit plans. It's crazy, right? Because like the city of Conroe, you can take like a hard set of printed plans and they'll go review that stuff. You can actually go to the physical city permitting office and ask questions and sit down and talk to somebody. The city of Willis, they've already kind of pulled away from that. Everything has to be done online. You have to go to a system called GovWell, get access to this online portal and submit your plans that way, submit your questions that way. They want to do everything digitally, which is fine. That's the way they decide to do it. Now, some of these things are called civil engineering, okay? The bottom ones here are going to be called civil, the MEPs. So let's talk about some of these real quick. I'm going to show you examples of them here as soon as we get done with this, so just bear with me if you don't understand what some of these terms mean. So a site plan basically just tells you where exactly the structure is going to be going in reference to the land. So you have the land, where's the structure going to be going? That's called a site plan. You have on there the driveways, you have on there, additional things that might be part of the design. Then you have the number two, and the third one here is the foundation engineer is going to be the guy that does the slab design. And so basically what he does is takes the information that is given to him from the soils test. So we're going to be taking some soil samples. Those samples are going to be tested in some sort of a lab. Those results then go to the foundation engineer, and then the foundation engineer then decides what kind of slab he wants to put on that particular property. Takes into consideration how many stories, takes into consideration how big. There's a lot of consideration. So just understand that that's this guy's expertise, not your expertise to know. Then we also need a shear wall design. And that basically just talks about, we have high winds here in Texas from hurricanes and stuff like that. So in order to keep the building from toppling over, we have a lot of force winds coming at it. So how do we keep those walls from toppling over? The last three here are going to be the mechanical, the electrical, and plumbing. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a master licensed air conditioning guy, electrician, or plumber. I do not have a master license. Now, a lot of the knowledge that I've gained has been over the years from working and building and doing all this stuff. And so I've learned a lot of this stuff. Now, do I want to be a master license anything? No, I don't. But there's some things that us as the owners and the builders need to understand and know. And so these are the things that we're talking about here. So we need an engineer to basically do something called a heat loads test. They do a diagram basically of saying the amount of area, cubic feet, that is going to need to be cooled or warmed in the wintertime. They're doing an analysis on that, which way the ductworks go and all the other stuff. That's something that needs to be done. The next one is going to be the electrical load analysis. So how much power you can send to the electrical panel, the amount of voltage and wattage. Again, I'm not an expert in that stuff, but that needs to be designed and needs to be labeled so that whenever the electrician comes in and does his job, he knows exactly the type of wire and breaker and all the information you need there. The next one, the last one's going to be the plumbing, which is an isometric plan. This is just basically where the clean water goes in, the blue lines, the red lines for the hot water, how the wastewater gets, gets out of the house and stuff like that. That is part of that particular plan. Okay. Now, again, if you want to know more about this stuff, please go to duplexbuildtorent.com and we'll talk a lot more about all of this stuff there. Now, let's look at a set of plans real quick. So, these are a set of plans that we got approved by the city. As you can see here on the bottom right-hand side, these got stamped. I want to skip through some of this stuff because this is just the basic plans, but this is the site plan. And I don't want to go too deep into it, but this is something else that needs to be submitted to the city. And the major things that I want to point out to you here are going to be the requirement for distances. So as you can see here, we have the corners of the lot, which is going to be here, here. These are the corners of the lot. And the site plan just basically says how far off of the property boundary line the structure is going to be. It's going to talk about the width of the driveways, the distance from the front of the property boundary line to where the structure actually begins. All these distances, that's the basic site plan, okay? Let's see now. Excuse me. The next one is going to be the foundation plan. As you can see here, Aggregate Engineering is the company that we've hired to do this thing for the foundation plan. They've stamped it, said this is according to the soils test, this is the type of foundation they're going to be using. They'll talk about the width of these footings, the depth of the footings, so on and so forth, the number of cables. That's the other thing that needs to be done. Then I told you guys we need a shear wall design. So we have a ceiling joist plan, a roof rafter plan, and then we have here the shear wall plan, all stamped and signed by the engineer, basically talking about how these walls are going to be put together. The framers are the guys who are the experts in all this stuff. They know about all this stuff and how it needs to be done. This is what they do for a living. They read this. You're looking for people that know how to pass inspections inside the city limits. Therefore, they know how to read these plans. They're not just, one day they're framers, another day they're, roofers. That's not the type of people we're looking for, okay? So next after this is we have the mechanical. So here we have a mechanical plan, very basic, guys. And all this is really, if you look here, if I zoom in just real briefly, we have where the air conditioning, the machines on the inside in the attic are going to be going. It says on here it's going to be a 2.5 ton. And you see how all the blue lines and all the pink lines, none of them intersect, none of them switch, because these are duplexes. They have to have their own independent systems, and that's what the city wants to see. It talks about here the width, or how big these little grills, where basically the ducts are going to be going, and the size of those little holes there in the attic or in the ceiling. So that's the other plan. And then we need an electrical plan. Let me just show you real quick here the electrical plan. So here's the electrical plan. As you can see here, we have someone that basically said this is what the load plan needs to look like. This is the gentleman who does it, the master electrician, and he's looking at what all this stuff looks like, the load analysis for all the stuff. And so that's what we have there. And then we have the last one is going to be the isometric plan. So here, the domestic water riser plan. So we have clean water coming into the house, and it goes over to the water heater, and then how it gets distributed, right, for all the hot water here to the kitchen, the bathrooms, the master bathroom, so on and so forth. And then, we have here the wastewater, right? So we have wastewater coming out of the kitchen. We have wastewater coming, the kitchen is right here. We have wastewater coming out of the kitchen. We have wastewater coming out of the utility room right here. And then the bathroom, and then we have the other bathroom here, how it's all basically interconnected. So that's it, guys. That's all the stuff that you need to have whenever you submit your plans. Those are the 6 additional things that we need to have in order to get our plans approved. So let me back up to it. We'll go over it real quick. Site plan, slab design, shear wall design, the mechanical, the electrical, and plumbing. They have the heat load test, the load analysis, and the isometric plan. So, guys, I teach from practical application from the trenches of new construction, day in and day out, man. If you guys are on here on my channel, I don't know why this thing's not working, but you'll see a ton of videos that I put together about dealing with new construction and how that all stuff works. If you guys want more information, please go to duplexbuilttorent.com. And if you want to join my school community, go here to school.com B2R /about. And then again, lastly, guys, my duplexbuilttorent.com free masterclass that you guys are more than welcome to sign up for. I'm happy to teach you all the things that nobody wanted to teach me when I first started in new construction. And I'm telling you what, I'm so glad I went to new construction. I hit my teeth hard multiple times trying to make fix and flips work, and they really didn't. So decided to switch. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching.